Hello, I am William Beltran. Conservas Beltran is a Peruvian company with ISO 22000 and HACCP certifications dedicated to processing seafood products with the highest quality standards. The star product is canned mackerel with Peruvian Amazonian salt. Our star product is canned mackerel with Peruvian Amazonian salt, a unique offering that combines traditions, authentic flavor, and ancestral ingredients from the Pilluana salt domo in the Peruvian rainforest. Brains history and sport missions, Germany. Since our beginnings, we have had a clear missions to bring the flavor, purity, and nutritional value of our products to international markets. Today, our focus is on exporting to Germany, a country that values traceability, sustainability, and certified quality. Conservas Beltran not only export products, it exports Peruvian culture, identity, and excellence. Importance of meeting technical requirements. Exporting to demanding markets like Germany requires full compliance with technical and health standards. Certifications like ISO 22000, HACCP, multilingual labeling, traceability, and residue control are not optional, they are mandatory. Non-compliance becomes a no-tariff barrier, blocking entry even without custom duties. For example, canned products missing an expiration date or allergy warning can be rejected at customs or withdrawn from shelves. Germany prioritizes consumer protection, which means we must ensure transparency, safety, and full regulatory compliance. At Conservas Beltran, we are ready to meet these standards because quality is passport to the world.
Let's talk about the technical standards and certifications required for the production of canned mackerel like the one from Beltran. First, the production plant must follow strict international food safety standards to guarantee consumer health and product quality. One of these is the ISO 22000, which is a global food safety management system. It helps ensure that food is processed in a clean, controlled environment where risks are identified and minimized throughout the entire production chain. Another key system is HACCP, which stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. This method helps identify biological, chemical, or physical hazards and sets control points to prevent contamination. Now, for canned products especially, there are some additional requirements. For example, the product must comply with the Codex Alimentarius, which sets international food standards for ingredients, additives, and safety limits. In Peru, the company must also obtain a sanitary registration, providing that the fish is processed in certified and inspected facilities. Other point is microbiological and physiochemical tests are also required to check things like pH levels, salt content, and the absence of harmful bacteria. Finally, the product must respect the MRL, or maximum residue limit, meaning it must be free of any harmful level of chemicals like antibiotics or heavy metals. Let's move on the labeling requirements for this canned mackerel product. The label must give clear and complete information to help the consumer make safe and informed choices. For example, it must include the name of the product, which in this case is mackerel filled in vegetable oil, the list of ingredients, and the net weight, here clearly stated as 170 grams. The origin and manufacturer's address, we should confirm that the product is made in Peru and mention the name and location of the plant. Also, the lot number and expiration date, usually printed on the top or bottom of the can, to track the product. And the last point could be the nutritional information table with values for calories, protein, fats, and sodium per serving. In addition, the label can include differentiation elements. For example, a seal of Amazonian salt, if this special ingredient is used to add value to the product. Also, certification logos like ISO 22000 or HACCP can also be shown on the label to prove the product is safe and high quality. And if the product is exported, a multilingual label is recommended, for example, including English and Spanish.
Hi, I introduce myself. I'm Fiorella Chipana, and we will talk about traceability. Traceability is extremely important as it helps us know exactly where the products come from and about health issues. In this case of Conservas Beltran, Everything must be records: the process, the origin of the fish, the salt suppliers, the production date, the batch number, and the expiration date to know exactly where the products come from in case of the health alert. Furthermore, to export to Germany, the European Union requirement food products traceability, which is regulated to be AC Regulation 178/2002, which also requires the products to be registered in the tracking system. It is the most risk that company its comments to quality, safety, and customer trust.
To access this market, exporters must comply with Regulation Number 852/2004, which requires strict hygiene standards, washable surfaces, pest control, separation of clean and dirty zones, training staff, and implementation of the HACCP system to monitor critical control points in the production chain. Full traceability is also mandatory under the Regulation Number 178/2002. This involves documenting the origin of the fish, the processing plant, production dates, ingredients, and full transport route to Germany. Traceability ensures fast responses to any food safety incidents. All this information must be registered in TraceSMT, the European Union digital system for sanitary and disability control. Authorities in Germany use it to verify online products, origin, transport conditions, and sanitary certificates. The processing plant must be registered with Sanipes and authorized by a European Union. Finally, histamine levels must be analyzed as a bluefish mackerel can develop histamine if cold chain protocols fail. Regulation number 2073/2005 sets us a maximum average of 10 milligrams. Neat samples per batch must be tested in accredited labs, and the certificate must be uploaded to Traces. This ensures the product safety and complies with the EU regulations. Exporting canned mackerel in vegetable oil from Peru to Germany involves overcoming several technical and regulatory challenges. First, the labeling must comply with European Union Regulation Number 1169/2011, which requires full translation into German and the inclusion of detailed information such as nutritional values, origin, allergens, and best for dates. This adaptation process, including graphic design, translation, and complete validation, can cost over 1,000 euros. Second, the documentation process is complex. The processing plant must be registered with Sanipes in Peru and authorized by European Union's Directorate General for Health and Food Safety. Additionally, sanitary certificates must be issued through the Traces system, which links exported Peruvian authorities and European Union importers. A sensitive issue is the validation of salt as a safe ingredient. While it is permitted in the European Union, exporters must provide laboratory analysis to prove it's pure and complies with sodium limits and absence of contaminations, following European Union food safety standards. Finally, shelf life testing is required to justify the product expiration date. This test must be conducted by ISO accredited laboratories, with a cost ranging up to $3,000. Altogether, these steps ensure that the product meets the strict quality and food safety requirements of the German and European markets.
Now I will present a technical and strategic analysis of the requirement to export Beltran's Becquerel fillet in the vegetable oil to the international market, specifically Germany, a key country between the European Union known for the higher consumer levels, strict sanitary regulation, and strong commitment to the sustainability in food chain. Why Germany? Germany is in the top consumer and the process in the canned seafood in Europe. According to the Food in the Agriculture Organization, over 70% of the seafood consumed in the Germany imported. In the higher value for the omega-3 content ability in the versatility. Moreover, German consumers are extremely demanding when it comes to the quality, food safety, in the sustainability, making in the highest attractive make for the value Peruvian products. To access the German market, it is essential to complete a complete technical design the product, including the product's technical data sheet, a high certificate include the HESA or SENASA in accordance with European regulation. Laboratory analysis certifying the absence of the heavy metals such as mercury and lead. Allergen declaration following regulation European. Plant regulation in the trans-anti-European system. Bilingual labeling Spanish-German that includes ingredients, shelf life to the number, origin, and storage condition. Furthermore, we recommend pairing with the logistic operator, specialists in the food export who can ensure maritime transport under option refrigerator, dry containers, efficient shipping time to the onboard port, handling of the export documents and sanitary certification, real-time trans and compliance with ISO 28001 supply chain security standards. Participating in the international trade fair such as IGA and Fish International in the brand is also critical. These events attractive distribution, the buyers and the private label retails brands. Item of voluntary certification we recommend from the CIA MSC, a value sustainability fishing practice. IFC food required by most German supermarkets. No AMO certification to the grand absence of the genetic modified ingredients.
And to conclude this presentation, we will present our conclusion. The conservers Beltran use techniques and operation designed to export to demanding markets like Germany. Its flagship products, Mackerel fillet with Amazonic salt, has high potential for differentiation if it rigorously meets the destination technical requirements. Therefore, mirroring international standards is not a barrier, but rather a tool that opens opportunities and generates a competitive advantage in markets where quality and transparency are key. Thanks.